The learning outcome of this module is to understand how to be politically savvy in your team or your group or your organization. Let's get started.
We're going to talk about the action steps about how to be politically savvy in the group or the team or the company that you're working with. The first step is to know what your goal is. Political behavior happens when you choose your actions so others see you in a certain way. Organizational politics are often most noticed during a political misstep. The goal of navigating politics is not to appear inauthentic or manipulative, but instead accepting office politics as a given and having a simple understanding of managing it will help maximize your success and minimize political missteps that erode your credibility and influence. Next, make sure you build an alliance. The easiest way to manage politics in an office is to prevent them. To do this, build a support base of people who trust you and whom you trust. Trust is the antidote of political behavior. Build up alliances in advance of any sort of conflict or any sort of political shenanigans. Alliances are a great way to help each other ensure that nothing gets past your collective political radar. By helping others, you're going to earn their trust and respect. You also earn their gratitude that will come in handy when you need help. The more that you're seen as a peacekeeper, the less likely you are to be a target of political behavior. Remember that you build alliances one relationship at a time. Two powerful approaches to building strong relationships are to establish common interests and provide help to the other person. Establishing common interests is always possible. And the other way is to make sure that you look at a relationship as an opportunity to give. If there's any way that you can provide assistance to someone, you should do it. Next, try to minimize politics. Another way to manage politics is just to minimize them. And some ideas is to do this include to focus on and communicate what's in the best interest of the organization, not individuals or particular groups. To discuss facts and data rather than hunches or opinions. To communicate with people in face-to-face instead of an email. So that way you're trying to make sure that your words aren't twisted by someone for their own gain. And also, be quick to admit mistakes and take responsibility. If you make a mistake, you should fess up to it and do your best to clean it up and make amends. Next, learn the landscape. When, especially in larger organizations or groups, politics might ultimately be inevitable. When that happens, try to focus on reading the situation and selecting the best response given the goals that you have within the organization. If you want to study the political situation, you want to do so to define people's needs, what their wants are, and what their hidden agendas might be. Understand the power of networks also by asking yourself things like, who are the informal leaders in this organization or group? Who typically works together? Who are the go-to people for important issues? Who are advisors to the decision makers? And what unwritten rules exist within the group or organization? For an example, if someone who's been sort of dismissive of you or someone who's never really paid attention to you before in the past suddenly wants to have lunch with you, ask yourself, why might this be happening? And what could be the advantage of you engaging with this person? And how could it backfire on you? Come up with as many potential explanations and options as you can, and go with the 2 or 3 most logical possibilities that exist. And then create yourself a plan A and a plan B for how you want to handle the situation. Finally, to navigate politics, make sure you're not don't fan the fire of politics. It's your decision whether or not to actively participate and fan this fire of politics. And, it's usually a bad idea. Don't gossip. Don't unload your real feelings on someone else when you finally had it with them. Remember, one of the most important rules to remember in management and leadership is that if you don't want something, you don't want to do something that you wouldn't be proud to have on the front page of a newspaper the next morning. If you feel triggered and you feel like you're about to, you're being forced to engage in politics, buy yourself some time. ask somebody a clarifying question, or excuse yourself from the room, or take a break from the meeting. Go get some water, or sleep on it. Take a day. Because the mere act of buying yourself a few seconds can decrease the triggers in your body that will actually create that fight or flight response and allow you to think rationally about the best response. If you are caught in the middle of a political situation, don't be afraid to stick up for yourself, however. You can diffuse conflict by remaining calm. Our emotions actually rub off on others. So if you're calm and you're not showing like you're escalating things, it's highly likely that the others, either in the group or the other person, will calm down as well. You also want to make sure to be careful with humor, because sometimes political missteps result from poorly chosen humor. If you're not sure about humor, err on the side of not saying anything at all. Don't use humor to derail work or progress, and don't use humor to mask your anger or frustration as a way to safely say what you are afraid to. Instead, deal with it openly and honesty, and deliver information through practical conversation and rational conversation, rather than through criticism or humor.
We hope that you found this module on navigating politics useful. Remember, there's a complete transcript of this video below, and there are downloadable takeaways that you can use offline. Also, please take a moment to comment below about how you are better at navigating politics today. Also, give us a comment about how we can make this section better. Thanks.